What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Nathan here with Win with Nathan here at The Lender, also known as The Coach. Guys, this is a video in the making that I've been trying to do for a while and I just haven't. I've been too busy. And so I'm going to make this short and sweet because I love what I do and I actually love meeting with people in person more. But this video is all about, do you know the difference between growing and scaling? Right? A lot of people, a lot of experts out there use them interchangeably, right? They're not. They're completely different. And lately, I've been doing a lot of portfolio reviews for people, whether it's strategy for how to do this or that. Like, I think over the last 4 weeks, I've met with 5 different investors to do strategy plans, portfolio reviews. I did one this week. Someone didn't know how to grow their portfolio, but guess what? I switched them into scaling. So guys, let's talk about the difference between them, right? Listened to a podcast last week which actually backed me up on this, and so I feel very good about myself. But guys, growing is just like anything else you grow, whether you grow your muscles, right? I'm not saying that because I just came from the gym. I'm just saying when you grow like your muscles and you grow yourself, you're putting a lot of resources, you're putting a lot of time, you're putting a lot of effort into that, right? You're tearing yourself down to build you up. So in real estate, when you're investing in real estate, growing means that you're taking your resources, your money out of your savings account, your money out of your retirement. You're putting a lot of time into it. You're spending a lot of money on coaches. You're spending a lot of money on coaches, right? You're trying to grow. That is growing in real estate. So you might grow at a pace of 1 or 2 a year, and you're just like, hey, I'm going to save up X, and then I'm going to buy. I'm going to save up X, I'm going to buy, and you keep going. It's not a bad strategy. We all have to start off that way unless you married into rich or you inherited a lot of money or you're just in a rich family, right? I'm joking aside, growing is what most people do, right? You have a lot of people, investors that pay coaches a lot of money. Had a lady this week at an event tell me she pays $23,000 a year. Give me 5, I'll teach you more than they'll ever teach you, right? The person still didn't know the basics. So guys, that's putting resources into something to help you grow. But at some point, you can only grow so much, right? So scaling is the opposite of that. Scaling is where you basically don't have to keep putting as much resources into it, right? Hear me out. So doing these portfolio reviews, growing is saying, hey, you make X money, you have X in your savings account. Let's buy another real estate or another piece of property or business, whatever. Scaling is taking what you already have, leaving your personal stuff over here, taking what you already have and using that to buy more. So this portfolio review this week, someone didn't know that they had a lot of equity and how easy it is to tap into that equity without a job, without anything, right? There's ways to tap into it because it's rental properties, right? It's paying for itself. So I did a portfolio review, looked at where they're paid off, looked at the ones that weren't paid off, looked at their payments they get on each one. They don't need cash flow from this, right? Because they technically had enough cash flow elsewhere. So in reviewing all that, came up with they had about $800,000 worth of equity, right? So about $550 in tappable equity. So without doing anything, right, without putting more resources of their couple hundred grand they have in their bank account, without doing anything like that, they're able to scale by meeting with an advisor, meeting with a professional. They're able to take what they have, and we said $550. They're able to buy $2 million more worth of real estate. Technically, they could go more, but for a safe bet, they could buy $2 million worth of real estate, right? What does that mean? That means that they're using what they already have and scaling to increase their business. Now, they aren't active in it. They're not the property manager, right? They truly treat it as passive. They don't pay thousands of dollars to coaches because coaches only get you so much, right? And they get you hooked on it, right, to keep paying. But what they're able to do now, and they've already started shopping, they can go and buy $2 million worth of real estate, right? First question was, do you want one property? I got a great agent that has properties that for $2 million do $360 a year, $340 a year, $320 a year. Do you want that, or do you want to buy like 2 properties? Hey, there's 2 properties you can buy. If you want to do 20% down, you can get each one of them at 1.25, I think they were. They both should do around 180, to 200 grand a year. Or do you want to buy several properties, right? Guys, that is scaling, right? They're able to take what they already have without putting more resources of their own money and scale, right? So at that point, when you get basically when your business is self-reliant on itself, that is what I consider scaling. Not everyone thinks the same, but growing would be, instead of tapping into what you already have, you say, hey, I've got 200 grand over here. Let's go buy $1 million property. I'm putting my resources from my personal into my business. That's growing your business, and that's perfectly okay. Now, what they can do is they can do that as well as all this and buy more. I don't advise it for this person. I advise doing baby steps. I had a different strategy for their money, which is growing a different business. So for their real estate portfolio, they're doing this, right? Up to $2 million, a little more possibly. But with the cash they have, we talked about another strategy in which they can make money quicker, faster. It's a riskier plan, but it's with building properties, right? As an advisor, you can strategize all these different things. You can look at a portfolio and find a plan, right? And the biggest thing that people have to overcome is when they talk to loan officers or brokers or realtors, I always try to say it correctly, everyone focuses on rate. It's not about rate, guys. It's about, are you trying to grow your business or are you trying to scale? Either way is great based upon your goals, but a beautiful thing in real estate and a beautiful thing is when you're able to take what you have and scale, whether you scale fast, right? You go woo, or you scale at a steady pace. It's the long game in real estate, right? Investing in real estate is the long game. Myself, I've got 2 BRRRR projects, which means, you buy, you renovate, you short-term rent, you refinance, and you repeat. So I have enough equity where if I do these 2 refis, right, it's my portfolio review, I can take the equity out, pay myself completely back for both of those, take that equity, I can go buy another property. What I estimate I can go do, I can go and buy another like $1.3 million property and truly be passive, or I can take that money and go do a different strategy, which is maybe build like a spec home or 2. Because the area we're in is short on homes, the profit is there in building new. The problem with that is that would be growing my business because I'll be putting a lot of time and effort into it. Now, how do you scale there? Excellent question. Scaling would be taking my cash, handing it off to partners, and saying, hey, do this. When it's done, pay me my money, pay me my profit, and let's just keep doing it. Right? That's scaling because I'm not putting any resources into it. I'm not spending all my time doing it. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm the money man. I've got the cash. We do it, but I'm partnering with a builder or partnering with someone else. That's scaling. If I want to be involved a lot and put a lot of my time and resources into it, that's growing it. I don't have time for that because I have a lot going on, right? I love what I do. I love advising people. I can't grow that business because I don't have the time to put all my resources into it, right? I can scale that if I want to, but I have to have the right partner. So guys, that's the difference between growing and scaling. They're both beautiful. They both work with investors. It just depends on which one you want, right? And that's the thing. You got to talk to an advisor, whether it's an agent, a builder. You got to talk with, or a loan officer, or a broker. You got to talk with someone that can advise you on strategy, right? If someone's coming to me and says, I want to buy another piece of property, I always ask to see big picture. I always ask to see, let me see your portfolio, let me see your whole thing, because if I'm going to advise you on the best option, I need to know everything, right? A lot of people mess this up, whether you're an agent or a lender. They say, oh, you only got 150 in your bank account, your interest rate's this, your credit's that, you can afford this. That's not being advised. That's being told what you can qualify for off the bare minimum. So guys, scaling and growing, both great options. Both options, you should really work with a professional, right? You need to have the right team around you, the right agent, the right builder, the right banker, CPA, attorney. You need all the right things, right? So when you sit down and do a portfolio review, feel free to give me a call, right? I've got an Excel spreadsheet I do portfolio reviews on. I've been designing it for like 6 months now, and it really makes my life easy. But when I'm able to show people, hey, you can take what you have already and go triple it, they're blown away. And most of the time, they have to think about it because they're like, wait, hold on. You're telling me what? I literally had a client who told me they didn't know they could do that. And I think they work with the #1 loan officer in the country, or did, until I worked with them. right? It's not to toot my own horn, but it's just to say that person said you can only buy one a year because of tax returns. That loan officer, who's the #1 in the country, or at least I was told at the time he was #1, if you knew his production, again, just because you have the top production doesn't mean you're the best, right? That person was able to scale. And we won't say how many he did in a year because it'll blow your mind. But guys, that's why you want to work with advisors. So again, to keep this video to the point, growing is where you're putting a lot of resources of your own time, money, energy into it. Scaling is where you can actually take a lot of your resources out of it and you use what you already have, right? So if you're growing your business, you might want to pay for a coach. If you're scaling, why are you paying for a coach? It's nothing against the coaches out there. I just think a lot of them don't teach you what you need to know. They teach you enough, and then they change every month a different opinion, right? So if you're paying 20 grand a year, 15 grand, 10 grand a year, make sure you're growing. As our football coach in college said, if you ain't going like this, you'll never reach your potential, right? You can't go that way. And a lot of times I find out that a lot of people who pay for coaches are this, right? Actually, sometimes they go like that. The reason for that is because they get dependent on that person. They're not actually taught how to do things. They're told use this, 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 and you don't think for yourself. It's nothing against coaches. It just has to do with if you were growing, then truly grow, right? Put your time, money, energy into learning from a coach, into being coached, into growing your business. But then when you're ready to scale, you don't need all that. You need a team. You need a team around you of partners or people you hire. That's the difference, in my opinion, in investing in real estate. So guys, if you have any questions, give me a call. My name's Nathan. I'm with Win with Nathan here at The Lender, also known as the coach. I love this stuff. I love doing portfolio reviews. It always blows my mind how much or how little people know that they can buy and how easy, just because they're used to this whole like rate thing or slow and steady, but they don't realize how they could scale at a much easier pace. So guys, have a good one.